Check, check, check 1, 2. Check mic 2. Check mic 3.
Check. There you go, Clint.
Check, check. Check 7. Check 9. Check 11. Check podium, check podium. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
All right, good evening. Let's call the meeting to order with a pledge of allegiance. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our October board meeting. If you've not done so yet, grab some great food over to this side. It was excellent. So I'm sure we're going to hear more on that later. First, we're going to start the meeting tonight with the approval of the meeting minutes from the last meeting. This is going to be via unanimous consent. Any discussion or questions on the meeting minutes? I would like to make one note, and I talked to Christine earlier, just one note where it was noted that I led the Pledge of Allegiance last meeting, but I was not here, so Mrs. Minnick did, so we're going to just update that. And yeah, I was there in spirit, yes, sir. Any further updates on the minutes? Okay, approved. I also do want to just note we do have one board member dialed in on the phone tonight. Natalie Smart could not be here, so she is on the phone, so thank you, Natalie, for joining. Next, we'll move to presentations. I think we have two presentations tonight, and we'll start first with the nutrition group.
Okay, it's on. Hi, everybody. Katie Golinsky with the Nutrition Group and your on-site food service director here, Leanne Young. Thanks for having us. Really, for our presentation tonight, we just wanted to showcase some of our food. So Leanne is going to talk a little bit about that and why she's going to share some of that. Hopefully, everybody got to taste it. If you haven't, we have lots of samples. It's important for us for you to get to taste some of the things that are on your line that we're serving. This is the food that your students are getting, that they're seeing in their lines, some middle school, some high school, some elementary. So we have lots of different new recipes and products that we're bringing this year. Just wanted to update just on some of the things that have been happening this year. And probably the one that I'm most excited about is just last week, found out that Athens received a PA beef grant. I know I had shared some information with administration. This is a new program that the Nutrition Group has really been behind. And this year, Athens received a PA beef grant where PA Beef Council will split the cost of local ground beef that we purchase to serve in schools on the students' favorites like tacos, meatloaf, hamburgers, so all of those things. And even more exciting is we were able to get the beef from a local supplier, Cargill, and they are going to supply all of our beef. We received about 5,000 pounds, and so we're going to be able to purchase that at a cost of under $2.40 a pound, which is awesome. And so we have lots of programs, marketing materials that are going to be coming. We're hoping to get our first delivery of the beef October 23rd next week. So it's going to be on our menus right away. So we're so excited about that, bringing those local foods to our cafeterias and, educating the students on those local foods right now as well. We are serving local apples from Small Dog Orchard. We have a couple different kinds coming up too with Apple Crunch Day and baked apples, things that you may see on your menu. So we're really focusing on bringing some of those local products here. So you're going to see that. So when you see beef on your menu, even at your tacos, walking tacos, it's all going to be local PA beef and then sourced from the local business. So we're really excited about that. So Leanne's going to talk a little bit about some of the food we have here tonight and just show you some of it, and of course come up and try some samples. Again, just really happy to be here, available if you have any questions. Thank you, for your support. We're trying to be more active on social media, so please follow us on that as well. And if you have any questions, Leanne is always available here. We're excited, to showcase some of these products. So. Oh, we can? Okay.
All right, so the first thing that a lot of you already did get to try was the boba. We've had this on our serving lines starting last school year at our middle school and our high school level. So This is a lemonade. We also have tea. We like the teas as well. We have flavored syrup in this. So this one is a strawberry lemonade with strawberry flavored boba. So the boba has been really popular. We sell them for $3, and we serve about 80 to 100 in our middle school level every time we put them out. So those are a big hit. We also have Munchables back. So during COVID, a lot of the stuff went away, but it's all been brought back now. So this is a good example of a Munchable. It's like our play on a Lunchable. The elementary kids love this. We have a ton of different kinds that we make. So we have like a ham and cheese. We have a build your own pizza. This one is the nacho. So it's just something that we can kind of pair with the rest of their meal. And of course, it's part of our free lunch program. The ciabatta rolls are new this year, so we have a couple different recipes that we are making with the ciabatta rolls. So this one that's the full-size serving right there that you see Katie holding. This is a new chicken salad. So we're using our new chicken shreds, which are a really nice chicken product that we're loving. So this is something we serve on our deli lines currently right now at our middle and high school. Did you guys love the s'mores bites? They were so yummy. They're a new a la carte item. So they are a whole grain chocolate donut bite. They have a chocolate filling in the middle. This is something, this is a recipe we've been making at our middle school. It's got chocolate syrup, marshmallows, and graham. So it's like a s'mores. And of course, our Nashville hot honey dill chicken sandwich. This is a whole grain chicken patty. It's whole muscle as well. The breading has a little bit of a dill flavor, and we pair it with our Frank's Nashville hot honey sauce. So it kind of gives you that little bit of heat, a little bit of dill. It's delicious. Our high schoolers and middle schoolers are really liking this. So it was originally like a featured favorite, but now we're kind of just menuing it all the time because they loved it so much. So if you want any, you're welcome to come up and try some more.
Thanks, Leanne. And then further, just to recap some of what we ended last year with is Leanne and her team, administration as well, we were able to be awarded 2 $10,000 breakfast grants to do a breakfast expansion at the high school and middle school where we're doing breakfast carts. And, for the second chance breakfast at the middle school, we are doing almost 20 to 30 additional breakfasts a day. So that's been really exciting. Breakfast is continuing to be free through all of PA, and you do receive free reimbursement for all of that, which is great because it helps to fund your program. Also at Athens, you've elected, to continue into the CEP program where you choose to offer breakfast and lunch at no cost to all students. So it's really nice, and I would encourage anybody, to try it. We have lots of different options, probably 5 or 6 different options a day at the elementary level, and then of course almost 12 or 13 every day at the high school level. So there's lots of different things to try. Everything we do serve meets all of the National School Lunch Program guidelines. And then also we do have the online menu. So if you're wondering about how many calories or sodium, carbohydrates are in anything that we serve, you can see all of that right on your NutriSlice menus that are on the Athens website. So you can really see what your students are getting. So it's exciting for us to have that and bring those things to you. So thank you. Looking forward to trying you. Thanks for having us and giving us some time tonight. We appreciate it. And excited for a fun school year this year.
Thank you so much. We have one more presentation. Dr. Stage, would you like to introduce the next one?
Yeah, I think we have I don't know. I see a few of them. We have, I think, the SRU Student Council, right, with Mrs. Stevens here. So I think they have something they want to present. Do you want to come over towards the microphone, Mr. Collum, and introduce them or get this going? A few of them I recognize. Some of them definitely better dressed than me.
All right, thank you. That's a tough presentation to follow up. I know we have some drooling elementary students over here that are hoping some of these items make their way down to the elementary school. Wow. So real quick, student council, we started here last year at SRU. We had, I think, 12 students last year. This year we have close to 30. So we have about a third of them here tonight. And tonight we'll have those here introduce themselves, and I think they're going to present some plans for this coming school year, still in the planning process of what they're going to be participating in this school year. There's a couple things that we know they're going to do. Every marking period, they're going to go out and do a volunteer opportunity. Last year, they went down and packed some chopped food bags. This year, they're going to go to the animal care sanctuary and some things like that. But they have a lot of ideas. Last year, I helped a lot with student council. This year, I chose not to, so I'm not the bad guy always having to knock down some of those extraordinary ideas that they have. So that's Mrs. Stevens' job and Mrs. Zdanowitz's job this year. But they're going to introduce themselves and share some of the ideas they have for this year. So just say your first and last name and then whatever you have to do.
Hello, I'm Keegan Barrett, and I am part of the SRU Student Council.
Speak right into
Hi, thanks for coming out tonight and listening to our Student Council speakers. First, we'll talk about Spirit Week.
Hello, my name is Liam Coyle. I think many people loved the Spirit Week and Parade. We spent a whole week making rubber band bracelets to hand out during the parade. This went along with the Spirit Air. We had fun while working.
The SRU Spirit Week had the following days: Comfy Day, Country Day, Crazy Hair Day, Football Jersey Day, and Wildcat Day. Next will go our second group.
Okay, so we are the community events, and we are going to be talking about 4. The first one is the animal care sanctuary. So we are going to be spending 2 hours there. 1 hour and 30 minutes is going to be at the cleaning everything kind of with mops. And so for the rest of the time, we are going to be playing with animals and petting them, like dogs, cats, hamsters, rabbits.
Hi, my name is Parker Collin. For the Rusty Rail of Food Drive, SRU is going to try to help with that. We will also be competing against SARE. One idea that we were thinking about is raking leaves for the community.
And then for our last one, we have tabs for Tom. We are going to be in it. We are going to collect tabs. So that's all. We are moving on to the third group now, I guess.
Hi, my name is Colin Drake, and I'm going to talk about goal setting. These are ways we can improve the school, but these are just ideas. So, we're thinking of putting hammocks on the recess grounds, more decorations for the holidays, and celebrate school faculty and bus drivers during appreciation weeks.
Hi everyone, my name is Riley Carlson. We are going to discuss about some fundraising ideas we have. An idea we have is Kids Night Out. We hope if we do this idea, we can make some money for the school. This is just an idea we have.
And along with that, we also have the dance where we will be selling things like caramel popcorn, candy, pizza, fruit punch, water, all of that. And we were also thinking about doing pictures with Santa during the Christmas time, which is where the kids 5th through kindergarten would take pictures. They would, of course, have to fill out a form first, though. And that is all from the 4th and 5th grade student council. Thank you for listening.
Oh, hold up. Mr. Collin. Not everybody shared their names. Can you help me?
Yes, those that did not share their name, why don't you come over here? And I'm really surprised you have the school board here and Mr. Stage, and nobody mentioned the football field inside the track that you guys want to add. Or the pool. Those were a couple of the proposals that were brought, and they didn't mention that, so maybe they changed their mind on that.
Yeah, great ideas.
My
Like I
name
said, these are
is
ideas.
Reagan Congdon, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Rachel Dean, and I'm in 4th grade. Scarlett Ecker, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hello, my name is John Emerson Connect. I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Colin Drake, and I'm in 5th grade.
Thank you, Mr. Collin. Thank you, Mrs. Stevens. Those are honestly probably my favorite parts of school board meetings, hearing those types of presentations. It's awesome. All right, we are going to take a brief break for an executive session for personnel and legal, so we'll be back momentarily. wait for her to. All right, we're just waiting for Natalie to join us back on the phone, then we'll get started. Hi, Natalie. All right. Okay, we are back from exec session, so back to the agenda. We will start with committee reports with finance and operations getting us started. Who's doing finance and operations?
Anybody?
I could do it. We don't have much. Mr. Schrader gave us an update on the testing for the football field, and everything passed all the required tests. It looks good. That's it.
That's it. Nice, short and sweet.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck.
You're welcome.
Next, personnel and policy.
I think Mr. Mosier is going to do it.
There we go. Yes, Natalie always does this. So, policy 350, 351, and 352, which are P through R on the agenda. We reviewed those. There's no changes or anything. It was just a review. It's aligned with what we do currently. So those could be, upon the committee's recommendation, moved to second read tonight. Policy 353, the committee had some discussion. That's letter S on the agenda. And we'll keep that as a first read because we had some discussion that we feel like maybe there was a revision or some changes that were made to that, and this may not be the updated one, so that will give us a month to go and look at that and make sure for the next meeting that it is revised appropriately. And then the Title IX sexual harassment and discrimination policies, which are C through F on the agenda, 103, 103.1, 104, and 234. We would recommend that we table those just because we haven't gotten a final word yet from PSBA or a legal group on what the actual wording of those have been. We have changed and revised what we're currently doing to address any Title IX violations, but until we get that actual final word that, yes, this is what you're supposed to adopt, we'd like to table those to the next meeting. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you.
C through F. C through F,
Yeah, C
Mr.
through F.
Mosier? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we did not have curriculum committee tonight, so there will be no report there, but we will have several items later on the agenda for curriculum. Next, extracurricular activities.
Okay, we discussed the hiring of a new swimming coach that's on the agenda tonight, and we also discussed the co-op of the with SARE for swimming and soccer, and we are recommending that for the 2025 and 2026 that we end the co-ops with SARE, so that way in the future we can prepare and budget for it. And also we would like to see that if we're going to co-op with SARE, that we co-op all sports or no sports going forward.
Thank you. I do want one change to the personnel listing. I do have an error on there, so if you could strike the basketball cheerleading coach. I had not had a chance to add that to or share that with the extracurricular committee for approval, and it's on there listed. She is the only applicant. However, we can approve that in November at November 12th meeting. Since that was my error, I apologize. I'll reach out to her and let her know too. My fault.
Anything else, Kevin?
No, that concludes the report.
Okay, thank you. Next, we will move on to superintendent's items and reports. Dr. Stage, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we'll try to make this error-free. We'll see. First thing I'd like to do is just, homecoming week is always a great memory for alumni and current students, but that whole thing doesn't happen without a lot of people working together, a lot of students, a lot of administrators, a lot of adults, teachers. The list is too long to thank, but we had a really tremendous celebration of what it means to be a Wildcat that entire week. Some of the highlights was our parade. We had a district-wide pep rally. We honored lots of people during our homecoming football game. So just thank you to Mr. Gabriel, our student council advisors, all of our principals for planning Spirit Weeks, their student councils. I mean, if you want to change a culture, you got to build it. You got to make moments happen. You got to make people feel like they belong. I think we are really trying to do that. And I was really proud of the effort that our entire district put forth on that. And thank you to our community for coming out and supporting us. It was incredible. The parade, 30 minutes, Dave. You needed 30 minutes and you would have got rain-free, my man. But it turned out to be a really special a moment. One thing I'd like to do each month is just highlight our enrollment. I always think it's important for people to know how many kids we have, where they are, and what they're doing. So current enrollment in our district is 2,025 students. 75 of them are in our online academy, which we call WOLA. And also, we have 150 homeschooled students. That's usually parent choice. But one thing I do want to point out is we have 72 students enrolled in cyber charter school. That costs the district to date, just to date, not overall, just to date, the cost of that is $396,917 and some change. So I just want to point out that to everybody, when we talk about cyber charter schools and the cost, that is real, that goes against our budget, that goes against our general fund, and is something that we have to plan for when we budget every year. And it is October, and we're already at $396,000. And we have to go throughout the whole year. Want to give one quick shout out to the golf team, district champs, AA district champs. They get to play AAA district champs. I'm still learning this athletic director stuff, so I apologize. They are actually headed to Fox Hill Country Club this Thursday to play their sub-regional match against Abington Heights. If they are the low score, they get to go to Team States, which is next week at Penn State. Also joining them will be Eli Hicks, who finished second in the district and will be heading to States next week to compete on the individual golf championship. So kudos to our golf team. They've had a great year. They went undefeated in the NTL this year. They set some records. I think every week they were shooting a lower score, so kudos to them. And that concludes my report for October. Happy Halloween.
Thank you, Dr. Stage. Great report.
I have a question. So how much?
Air free.
No, but how much do we spend per student in the district?
Oh, a cost per pupil, an enrolled student or a cyber charter student?
Enrolled student.
I think the basic ed funding gives us about somewhere between 12 and 13,000 per student. Okay.
So 15,000 per student for the year.
Yeah. Yep. Error one. How about this? How about we get you an exact number in November?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Stage. We have no updates for Blast, I don't believe, this evening. So we'll move on to the Career Center. Mrs. Cooper.
Thank you. We had a board meeting for September after ours. The Career Center is adding an additional cosmetology instructor, so we can open that up. We also approved, and the joint fire, Athens Township Fire and Towanda Township Fire Departments are putting in a pavilion at the Career Center. They already have a fire training station that they have there and bring in trainings. So they will use that when they are doing their trainings. The students can use that during the day at any time. And they received the grant for a full-time resource officer at the Career Center. And I think that's it.
So Ms. Cooper, that full-time officer, is that a Towanda? Where would that be coming from? Like what?
They've dealt with the sheriff's department.
Okay.
And they're going to be getting someone through that. All schools had the ability to apply for and receive a $50,000 or $55,000 grant for security, all public schools in Pennsylvania, and that's what they had applied for and received the monies for.
Did we
And-
apply for that grant?
Yeah,
Okay.
we already get it.
I think all
We've been getting
have
the
it.
PCCD Safety and Security Grant for a number of years. I think.
But they allowed technical schools to also, which prevented them from asking all the districts to chip in for the SRO at the Career Center. It comes under the grant instead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, what locality or where the officer would be coming from. Because like out here, we have the issue of state police or
Yeah.
township.
Yeah, and our agreement here is with the township to provide an SRO out here. But I know that the Bradford County Sheriff's Office's office will starting to provide them in areas that don't have a municipality agreement. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cooper. So next, PSBA, Mrs. Mack.
Yeah, I just wanted to let the board members know that there is additional training. We did get some information with our data, our numbers for testing. There's additional training on the PSBA website for data-driven, and it goes over different, let's see here, understanding data achievement, utilizing the stakeholder and community data, and kind of like a budget data drive as well. And that's all online. If you guys are interested in taking it, you just log into the PSBA account, and there's different videos and courses you can take to understand the, what do I want to say, the testing data that we got training from Mrs. Rhodes last month on. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to section 6. Mr. Barrett, solicitor's update.
In addition to several personnel matters the administration's had me working on, I was able to yesterday attend the school board's meeting held down in the Kalahari Resort. I was there to attend the Pennsylvania School Solicitor's school law update. I wasn't able to go down Sunday afternoon, so I drove down early Monday morning and drove back last night. It was probably one of the best sessions I had taken there. They had several, well, actually I had 6 speakers on topics that are extremely current that we face every day. Some of them were a general review and some of them were quite enlightening, as well as having the Mike Levin, the General Counsel of the Pennsylvania School Boards, give a school law update for an hour and a half at the end. I thank you for letting me go, and it was very insightful. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Next, visitor comments on board action items only. Do we have any visitor comments? Okay, next. Do we have a second and a motion for financial business?
So moved.
Sorry, a motion and a second. We'll do it
Second.
the right way. Motion and a second. Dr. Stage, anything that you want to highlight for financial business? Looks like it's our normal items.
These are mostly general bills. You'll notice everything seems to be in order in terms of our normal run of outflows. So nothing exceptional there. I will note the settlement agreement, which is for student services.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Shores, for putting the cyber school. Thank you.
And as Dr. Stage noted, and I asked for clarity before the meeting, this is fiscal year to date, right? So this is basically just about a month's worth of,
Yeah.
right? So July.
Yep.
So we basically have, this is probably what, maybe like 10% of what we can expect for the year, probably
Yeah.
give or take, right? So
Maybe a little bit more, August, September, yeah. So
maybe like
I could see
10
it.
to 20%.
Yeah,
Okay.
projecting out might be closer, a little over, close to 3 million total. Who knows when we get done?
Right now, we're at $5,512 per student, per cyber school charter student.
If a student left, then is that prorated? So if a student leaves cyber charter, is it prorated for the year, or do they pay full? Even if they start throughout the year, it's prorated as well? Okay.
That's pretty low.
Got it. Thank you.
So, at the end of the year, that says 5,000
Times
today
108.
for per student.
Got it. Date now. Okay.
Per month. It's $2,500 a month.
Very insightful.
It's
Some charter schools in town need actually with some we have kids that can go down. Special education rate is roughly going to double with the general education.
So I just took the 396,316 divided by the 72 kids.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
That's not
Okay.
fair.
There's about 10 charter schools that we recommend go to all in the rates are
But we could do that math at the end of the year. Right,
Okay.
once we have the total, I think the math is.
At the end of the
yeah,
year.
we'd
Okay.
still be able to see,
All right.
or maybe at a
could have
halfway
last
point or
year.
something.
I can tell you what we pay for each student, it's not, but I didn't know exactly.
It would be a good comparison, I think. You know.
Great information, Ms. Shores. People online can't hear? Okay, thank you.
All right, any further questions or conversation around the financial business? Okay, Christine, for vote.
Mr. Owen?
Yes.
Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Mrs. Smart?
Yes.
Mr. Tarasnowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
And Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, do we have a motion and a second for personnel items?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. So we have two items in personnel. We have our normal personnel listing with some support terminations, resignations and contracts, supplemental resignations and contracts, athletic coaches, resignations and contracts, as well as athletic volunteers. And then we also have a request for a sabbatical approval. Dr. Stage, anything you'd like to add on anything in personnel?
Just my reiteration of it removing, I can't remember.
G2?
G2, yes, thank you. Let me check my phone real quick then. Oh, yeah, so I also want to make sure that it's noted that the swimming coach stipend is not noted, but it's $7,000.
That's for G1?
Yep, yep, for head swimming. Yep.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the updates to that are adding the stipend of 7,000 for G1 and removing G2. Okay.
Under personnel, I'd request that E is pulled for a separate vote, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Stage, can you tell me again what an energy coordinator does?
Yeah, 1,000%. So the energy coordinator, that person does actually a lot of work with our, first of all, they work with our control systems, helps us be efficient. They actually are in our buildings multiple times a week checking for energy efficiencies. They consult with energy utility companies and get our lowest rates. They are constantly reviewing all of our controls, constantly to make sure that we are efficient. And yeah, they also review all of our utility bills each month for any discrepancies. They do multiple walkthroughs, like even on the weekend, to be checking all of our stuff.
Okay.
So I think the last time, please give me some grace here. The last time we did an audit was just a few years ago, and I think our energy person saved us about $50,000 to $60,000 per year, on average.
Thank you.
That's pretty accurate, right, Jeff? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Dr. Stage,
Yes, sir.
did we ever look to see if there's any grants that are in the pike for helping pay for energy savings, for either paying for part of his salary, part of anything to take care of the issues at hand that we have?
There's none that come to my mind currently, but when we started this energy program, long before me, I can't remember the name of the company, Energy Education, there was some things to offset the cost of having that, but it was part of the responsibility to have an energy manager such as Mr. Fritz. And right now, his cost is offset by his savings. But we certainly, if we can find something, without doubt, we'll apply.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you explain again what an aquatics director does?
To the best of my ability, I apologize. Their role is they check the water every day. They chlorinate, they do the testing, which is chlorine levels, pH levels, and then they also are in charge of scheduling summer usage, training lifeguards, scheduling lifeguards. We also have some small revenue streams from like hosting birthday parties. They're responsible for taking care of those as well. The general health of the pool is their responsibility.
Dr. Stage, have we had any issues with the pool in the last year or two?
So we had a pump issue I would say about 9 months ago. We had a pump issue. It was fixed after the season. We couldn't fix it during season because we had to do a couple day shutdown. We did have some claims of some chlorine burns, but we checked the water a lot, and we could not determine that it was a chlorination issue. We did have a dehumidifier we had to replace, but that was more mechanical than it was anything else. Just off the top, did I miss anything, Jenny or Jeff?
The only thing I'll add is the aquatics director does everything that Dr. State said. He leads on the maintenance department for mechanical repairs, pumps, filters, and whatnot, whatever mechanical issues.
Correct.
We work well together.
Yeah, I apologize. Yes.
Is there a preventative maintenance for this stuff, or is it just wait till it goes?
The only preventative maintenance, Mrs. Knight, on a pool would be, like we said, the daily chemical testing, releasing our pumps. That's really more a daily testing for the pool.
And just to be very clear, pools are a lot of work and they're very expensive to maintain.
We have to do weekly testing with Department of Health also for chlorine levels and pH, and it's expensive.
It is,
yeah. With the lab.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any further questions on personnel? Okay, so we're going to do this in 2 votes. So the first one will be the personnel list, sections A, B, C, D, F, G, and H, as well as the request to approve the sabbatical. Okay, so we'll go for a vote on that first one, then we'll do E separate. Okay, we're ready, Christine?
Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Mrs. Smart?
Yes.
Mr. Charosnowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
And Mr. Owen?
Yes. Okay, next we will do section E within the personnel list.
Mrs. Smart?
Yes.
Mr. Charosnowski?
Abstain.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
Mr. Owen?
Yes.
And Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Okay, next we have contracts and agreements. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Hold on a second. Did we do part B?
Yeah, that was part of the first. That was part of the first one.
Okay, so under contracts and agreements, I'd like to pull item A and B for a separate vote.
And pull D for separate vote.
So we're going to do 3 votes on this section. One for, I think we need to have, did we get a motion and a second to bring it to the table first? Okay, let's get it. So Cindy had a motion.
I moved.
Okay. Do we have a second for contracts and agreements?
Second.
Okay, so a second, so then Mr. Frisbee would like to have A and B be a separate vote. Mr.
Okay.
Jones would like to have
Thank
B
you.
be a separate vote, which then means C will also be a separate vote. So we'll have 3 votes on this section. Yeah, A and B together, then C by itself and B by itself. Okay, Dr. Stage and/or the extracurricular activity committee, any updates we want to share on these items?
Yeah, so let me jump in on C and D. because that's where I actually know more.
Okay, so what's that C&G?
So the foster grandparent program, you know, we approved it with Lynch last month. Mrs. Minnick asked us about SRU, which we've had a long-standing agreement with, and we noticed that it was time to update that as well, so that's why you see that. It's the same as what happens at Lynch, but it's been going on here for over a decade, since I've been here, even longer possibly. It's a great thing, you know, nice to see the grandparents in here working. It's a great partnership, you know, it costs us a lunch, so it's fantastic. And, you know, there's some good connections going on. Penn York Opportunities, if you're not familiar, Penn York Opportunities, you know, really provides a lot of life skills training, some allowing people to develop, you know, skills that will help them in the career and workforce area. And we have partnered to offer janitorial custodial services for the administration office with Penn York. So they have someone that they'll train, they'll come in and do the janitorial custodial services in our administration office, which we currently cover with a custodian from the high school at an overtime rate. So there's some cost savings to that as well, and also an opportunity to create some job opportunities. And we're excited for the opportunity to work with Penn York. So.
And they provide some of those services right now, like the state police barracks, cleaning facilities, like the VA building as well.
The VA building, and you know, if you guys are out and about, you know, they also run the ice cream stand that's in downtown Athens, and I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but the new IR Credit Union building on Elmira Street, they run a coffee shop in there every day, and I can't wait to try it. We had a sample, it's exceptional. I got to get down there and actually purchase it someday.
Thank you, Dr. Stage.
That's what I know.
All right, so letters A and B.
Sure. We can talk about it. I can speak briefly on this. The request is to end the co-op agreement for soccer and swimming, which is our current co-ops with SARE. It says 25-26 school year, which would be the end of our co-op cycle. I believe Mr. Rude also brought up in the extracurricular report that this would be paired with a further opportunity to just say, hey, we would like to look at an all-comprehensive co-op agreement for all sports. If I'm mistaken, Mr. Rude, please correct me.
No, you're correct.
Thank you.
So what are we voting on? Just A and B, are we going to end it or not end it? That's what we're voting on, correct?
So,
is there some back half language here? I'm not.
No. I think currently we would end it, and then you probably would see us come back in November requesting to do an all-comprehensive co-op. I'm not saying that we would have to also talk to Sarah about that as well. It takes two to tango in a co-op.
Sure.
I'm curious as to why this was brought up.
Yeah.
Everything
we're hearing, we have always heard every report. Everything's going well with it.
Our coaches came in and were all supportive of it. We've heard nothing but glowing remarks for the student athletes.
And the timing just during the season right now, while they're still playing, it just doesn't seem right either. They're still playing. The girls are very competitive. We have playoffs coming up. It just doesn't seem like a good time to bring it up right now.
I also, sorry if I can't see anyone, I just wanted to share a few perspectives myself, if I could, on this issue, because my eldest son is currently playing on one of the co-opted teams as well. And I just wanted to note that this co-op, it has only been a positive experience for our family and for all the kids that we've been with and the other families. I've watched them play before they even got to school-wide sports. They were playing valley-wide sports together at soccer and swimming, and now I'm watching them do it at school as well. And all the kids in the program are following and abiding by the same expectations at school and on the field, and don't see themselves as one school or another. They're playing as a team, to the point that actually the whole team just recently marched in the Athens Homecoming Parade and have all been invited to march in the SARE Homecoming Parade as well this weekend, because they're as a united team. So I just want to note that it may not be a large number of kids, but for those that are participating, it's really been an important thing for those kids, and I'd hate to see us move backwards on a relationship that has been really positive for our community and our district. So thanks for, letting me speak, remotely.
Doesn't this go against our
Thanks,
resolution we just passed too, about sharing services? That was what we just did at the last meeting. Like, I really don't understand why the curriculum or the extracurricular committee would bring this up. What brought it about? Did the coaches, were they upset with it?
I personally was approached by 15 to 20 community members as the extracurricular. They all asked me.
Did they go to the meeting?
No.
Did they,
Do you want me to,
come to the meeting?
do you want to let me speak?
I haven't had one. Have we had one person come here?
No. No.
We're an open school board, public meetings. We don't come in the side, calls on the side to then bring those out. Come in here, tell us what's the issues with this. I mean, are these people even taxpayers in Athens and Sarah School District? We don't know that.
Yes, they were all taxpayers. They asked me to bring it up at the extracurricular meeting, so that's what I did. The extracurricular meeting or committee discussed it, and it was unanimously said that we should bring it to the board. So that is what we did.
Who was the vote for that at that committee?
Kathy Joe, who else? Cindy, and the other one. Well, yeah, they're the three board members that are on the committee, and they all said, let's bring it to the board.
Bring it to the board for discussion so the board can discuss.
Correct.
Correct.
Kevin, are you able to characterize what was some of the feedback that we were getting from the community? Was it just a general concern, hey, let's end it? Was there any feedback?
No. It was more of a concern, not one concern with the soccer or swimming individually. It was more of a concern with, let's either do all sports or end the co-ops with SARE. They want to see all or nothing. With everything else that is going on, with the future of, we're going to have the, one thing that was brought up, with the future budget concerns. They said if we did it all or nothing, then we couldn't properly plan for the expenses and for the coaches and for the uniforms. And that's why they asked me to bring it to the committee. And so the committee talked about it, voted on it, and we said, yes, let's bring it to the rest of the board.
What's the numbers that we have right now in swimming and soccer that we're talking about?
So I don't have signups for swimming yet, but we had 3 boys, 2 girls, and 3 junior high.
So does that put a large stress on our budget for uniforms?
And I thought Sarah paid a portion of that as well.
They do pay a fee.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I just think this is ridiculous. I think it's kind of a way to listen. There was a discussion of merger. Both boards, I guess, voted to not continue that conversation. It seems like this is almost like a backdoor. We're going to try to get them to do all or nothing. So then they're forced to then say, well, I guess we should try to do back into merger or not in those discussions. It seems silly. I mean,
and using kids.
Yeah, we voted before the players, the coaches, the families. It's all been positive. It's
right.
Just, to me, this
isn't putting the kids first.
Correct.
So then why would you want this to come before us?
Because I wanted it out of discussion as a board. So
well, I heard you voted for it.
No, I voted to bring it to the board.
Okay.
Just, just to answer everyone's questions, this has been a request. I think we did this request in 2021. We asked to pass a resolution for Sarah to look at combining and co-op with all sports. So this conversation is not a brand new topic. So I think that is part of that too. It's come back around, and it might be. I don't have the only insight I've ever had, and I serve the will of the board. The only insight that I have now that I've been out and about was, I think some people who appreciate things that they may see with us us co-oping with soccer with boys and girls and swimming, is the fact that the kids that are participating in our co-op from SARE, get to enjoy that competitive advantage of being a fully staffed team. And I think if I'm listening to Mr. Rood correctly, I think some of that is potential of, we should do this all together so that all these student athletes have a more competitive advantage. It's maybe not about playing time, but about being competitive.
I agree with that. I think you can do
I
that
think
though without ending the co-op.
Just the feedback. Yeah, I get it.
And
It is
affecting the
just
kids,
feedback.
they may not have an opportunity then next year at SARE, if they don't have a program, not to be able to play next year.
So, and I just want to put it out there just so everyone is completely aware. We did some work today. If the board chooses to end the co-op, I just want to make sure that everyone understands students still participating from SARE who, as long as SARE does not create its own program, therefore they don't go back and create a soccer team or recreate their swim program, those students get to complete their PIAA eligibility with us.
As long as they're in the program now.
They have to be in the program now. They have to be at least a freshman.
So the current
In the year
8th graders in junior high coming up from SARE would not have the opportunity to play soccer then next year.
Interestingly enough, you guys have 25, 26 on there. They would be 9th graders next year.
Okay.
And that,
Following
therefore
year.
they would, the following, yeah. So it would be this year's, the only students, athletes that possibly would be potentially left out would be 7th graders. Yeah, I started with that. Yep. And that's by mutual agreement between both high school principals.
Has there been any discussion with SARE to see if they are also interested in ending the co-op?
No.
Nothing that we're
No,
aware of?
not on my end. No, sir.
Any further questions from the board on section 10?
The only question I have is, so for A and B, a no is to not end the co-op. A yes is to end the co-op if you vote, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so a no vote is we're keeping things as is.
Okay.
A yes vote means we end the co-op in the 25-26 school.
Okay, just wanted to be clear.
Thank you, John, for clarification. Okay, so again, we're going to do section 10 in 3 votes. The first vote will be for A and B. Christine?
Mr. Cheresnowski.
No.
Mrs. Cooper.
No.
Mr. Frisbee.
No.
Mr. Johnson.
No.
Mr. Jones.
No.
Mrs. Minnick.
No.
Mr. Owen.
No.
Mr. Rood.
No.
Mrs. Smart.
No.
Okay. So next we will do 10C.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the foster grandparents.
Foster grandparents. Yes.
Mr. Frisbee.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick.
Yes.
Mr. Owen.
Yes.
Mr. Rood.
Yes.
Mrs. Smart.
Yes.
And Mr. Cheresnowski.
Yes.
And then next 10D for Penny York opportunities.
Mr. Frisbee.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Abstain.
Mrs. Minnick.
Yes.
Mr. Owen.
Yes.
Mr. Rood.
Yes.
Mrs. Smart.
Yes.
Mr. Cheresnowski.
Yes.
And Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then just before we move on, I just want to repeat what John said earlier. So the no vote on A and B is a vote to continue the co-op as is for both swimming and soccer. So, thank you. Great conversation there.
And I like the open discussion, but I would encourage, if there's these 15 to 10 people that are out there or otherwise, whatever it may be, come to a school board meeting, give your name, give your opinion, on something we're going to vote about, something we should think about. I just don't like this backsides. Come in, tell us. We'd like to hear from you.
Or send a note, right? You can send, we got the email, send the email to
Yes.
us. Right, come to the microphone. Open to the public. All right, thank you. So next we'll move on to policies. Do we have a motion and a second for policies?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so I'll just recap the updates to the list that Mr. Mosier mentioned earlier. So A and B will stay as is as second reads. C through F are being tabled. We are not voting on those this evening. G through O are staying as is, second reads. P, Q, and R are being changed from first read to second read.
Yep.
And then S is staying at first read. Okay. Any questions from anybody on the policies? Okay, Christine?
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
Mr. Owen?
Yes.
Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Mrs. Smart?
Yes.
Mr. Tarasnowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
And Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Okay, next, do we have a motion and second for curriculum and instruction?
So moved.
Second, and can you separate D?
Yeah, we will take D out as well as a separate vote. Dr. Stage, anything you'd like to add on these 4 items?
No, other than there is the
Must
FFA National Convention in Indianapolis. And I just want to make sure that everybody's aware, FFA they pay for that, other than, we just provide the van, they pay for that. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear with that. The Ag Advisory Board, this is their Occupational Advisory Committee. We just finished our progress monitoring, cyclical monitoring, and it just needs us to approve the people that are on that committee. And that is something we didn't realize we had to do. So these are all the people that sit on the Athens Agriculture Advisory Board. And so that just needs to be board approved. Those people do, when they come, they give some great input. You'll notice that the senior class trip does have its final itinerary, which does meet the requirements that we asked of them when we created kind of the protocols for senior trips. And then finally, the Penn York Opportunities Echo program. This is really awesome. This is providing, this works with students that between the ages of 14 and 21 that are enrolled in school right now. This provides them great training opportunities, Echo, employment choice, honor, and opportunity. This gets these students out learning a skill, creates employable opportunities for them, and also some life skills so that they can, be independent. And I think that is great. So that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Stage.
Always.
Any questions from the board on those items? Okay, Christine, we'll first do a vote on A, B, and C.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
Mr. Owen?
Yes.
Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Mrs. Smart?
Yes.
Mr. Tarasnowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
And Mr. Johnson?
Yes. Okay, next will be a vote on 12D.
Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
Mr. Owen?
Yes.
Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Mrs. Smart?
Yes.
Mr. Tarasnowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
And Mr. Jones?
Abstain.
Okay, next, section 13, transportation. Do we have a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have an update to our bus contractor daily rates for the school year. And then we also have some updates on drivers, to our drivers list. Dr. Sage, anything you want to cover there for those items?
No, I think these are pretty straightforward. If you're looking at transportation, these are daily route rates. I just counted 29 buses. The rest are vans. we're well within our norms with that. And then always looking for more bus drivers and van drivers. So here's my shameless plug. If you want, I'll get you in touch with Chambers, Dahm, Jenkins, D&J, whoever you want to work for. They're looking for them. So maybe even CNC.
And Leonard. Any questions from the board? Okay, we'll vote Christine.
Mr. Owen?
Yes.
Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Mrs. Smart?
Yes.
Mr. Sherosnowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
And Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
Okay, next we have nothing for buildings and grounds, nothing in the other section. That brings us to visitor comments. Do we have any visitor comments?
We have one visitor, Georgetta. Do you? She's good. She's good.
She did her part with the update earlier. All right, so next we have several board communication items. Again, no vote on these this evening. You okay, Jenny? So several items here for field trip requests, enrollment data, personnel transfers, and Sunday facility use. Next, our upcoming meeting. The next meeting will be Tuesday, November 12th at the admin office at 7, with committees meeting at 6:15. We do not have an executive session. So do we have a motion and a second to adjourn?
I thought we did too.
So moved.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.